Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to Red Storm Chasers. I'm Vincent here with Craig, Tim, and Nick. Tonight we start the fourth season of Red Storm Chasers and a return to St. John's basketball, guys. How excited are you for the season? How's everybody doing?
Doing well. Start of the season is always an exciting time. The November comes around and it's time for St. John's basketball. The thing we worry about and think about, all day long, every day.
Mainly worry about.
Mostly worry about, yeah.
I'm excited for the season. There's a lot of buzz around the team and everything, and there's just talking with people around the program.
Part of the new excitement this season is bringing in a new athletic director as well. We brought over Ed Cole, former Fordham athletic director, also former staff member at St. John's. So it's always exciting and interesting, I think, when a new regime takes over, what direction the athletic department's going to take. And, obviously it's kind of fresh in his term still. So we'll see which way he takes us. But
yeah, I think Father Shanley once taking over and Rick Pitino coming in. Mike Craig was never their guy. Mike Craig was always good in here. We always talk to him. He was a good friend of the podcast. So, we do wish him well.
He did a lot of good things for St. John's as well.
And I think he started building that foundation. But I think Father Shanley wanted to get his own athletic director in. Rick Pitino, obviously, what I would imagine was instrumental as well in that. So I think, look, in those guys we trust, and they've done it before, so we're going to trust them. And I think Ed Cole, from all accounts, is a great hire for us, and is very adept at raising money, which is obviously extremely important in the days of NIL, and especially as we try to move forward towards major scale renovations at various basketball facilities here at St. John's.
Certainly so. And obviously, the way basketball is now, if you're not ever evolving, but college basketball is now, if you're not ever evolving, I think you're really putting yourself behind the eight ball with NIL and, conference constantly changing and so much activity all the time. It's sad, like, when you see someone go. Mike Craig, like we said, did great stuff for the school, but, move on and can hopefully heading in the right direction. So we'll see what Ed Cole brings. But he's going to have a basically brand new basketball team because this St. John's roster looks nearly unrecognizable compared to last season's team.
Some key pieces around.
I wouldn't say that.
How many starters of last season will be on the court starting for St. John's this year?
I don't know how many starters, but we have 5 key players returning. That may not have been starters.
I said nearly unrecognizable. I didn't say it was unrecognizable.
We average 4 is pretty recognizable. Simeon Wiltshire is pretty recognizable. RJ is pretty recognizable.
Sure. First of all, they're all recognizable because I know all of them.
Brady Dunlap.
I know all of them. I love all of them. But I'm just saying, we're going to have a mainly new starting cast here.
Yeah, I agree. It's a new cast. I think that's going to be the new normal here with NIL and the transfer portal. I think every year is going to be big roster turnovers. And I think the key to this all is to keep a core group of guys together. And I think, luckily, we really didn't have, obviously, not defections, but people graduated and went on to the NBA and things like that, which is great for the program. That's what we want. Good for the guys. That's what we want as well. But if we keep those key pieces together, I think that's the continuity you need going forward. Then you supplement, and we get big roster guys like we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I think you are right. That's basically the new norm across college basketball. Yeah. So, and Rick Pitino alluded to that a bit during media day, saying that he's not really going to look for high school recruits. He's going to try to fill the roster mainly with portal transfer guys.
Yeah, he did say that,
which is an interesting approach in my opinion. I don't know that that's the best approach.
It might only be a this year thing because of the roster slots we have. It may not be a long term outlook. We'll know. We'll see. Who knows?
We will see. But it seems like an interesting approach to me. I feel like, Brady Dunlap is the perfect example. He was a high school guy, right? So sure. He was a high school guy that Pitino brought in. So I don't know. We have actually RJ Lewis was also a freshman. There are a bunch of talented. Well, Simeon Wiltshire. There are high school guys who are talented out there.
There are. I just think I think what it is we have a bunch of those guys right now, and his goal is to keep those guys and develop them while supplementing with the transfer. And I think he's really talking about this year. I think maybe next year he dives back into the high school pool and refill some of those guys who might end up transferring different schools or might end up leaving. Or the roster is a constantly evolving thing. And I think now he's looking at transfers because that's where he thinks we are in terms of roster construction. I think going forward, I don't think, I'm going to be wrong, that he's saying we're done with high school players for a long time. I just think Because I think he does see. I mean, I would imagine you do see the value in having those guys stick around. But I think it is. Remember, it is difficult to keep those guys all the years.
And
So you put a lot of player development, and then
and it's a little different, and it's a little different in the NIL era now. That's hard to say. It's kind of hard now in the NIL era because, like, well, not hard actually. It's a little different now in the NIL era because you get a chance to see like players for 2 or 3 years at another program and see, okay, he will fit my mold or he won't fit my mold. So it's a little, it could be advantageous to go to, just kids that are in college rather than doing high school.
yeah,
You also got to pay him less money.
That's it. Well, depending what kind of kid they are.
well,
Yeah,
sure.
it's fair.
Well, at least you get a better, as Nick said, you get a better look at him. You know really what you're getting, what you're
Is
paying for.
Is he actually worth it?
Also,
or
more
not?
likely to get a better deal because it's their first time working it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a look at this roster. Obviously, the biggest name brought in, probably the biggest transfer portal
Yeah.
of the move of the college basketball season.
Number one according to ESPN.
Kadari Richmond moving over from Seton Hall to St. John's.
That'll add the juice to the rivalry.
Across the Hudson.
Just a little bit.
Already a rough rivalry, by the way. Not exactly the friendliest of rivalries
No,
for
no.
sure. So that'll certainly add some juice to the fire. I still think playing that game, and we don't play any games at UBS Arena, but playing that game at UBS Arena was a hilarious move by
Mhm.
Well,
St.
this year we're
John's.
gonna play in Carnegie, so
Hey, listen, that was a good move too.
it's smart.
I think we should
Alright.
play him at the Staten Island campus instead.
There you go. No, it's a little too close to New
You
Jersey.
should play him in Montauk.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure,
The further out, the better. That's why I think UBS was a good move. Anyway, so Katari Richmond, obviously the biggest addition to our team. There's so many positive things you can say about him. He is. I mean, he's going to be the face of the team. But certainly in the leading preseason,
He could be the face of the Big East.
He's
he
a
could be the
captain.
face. That's what I'm saying.
They made him captain.
He's a guy who could easily be that leader, and he's kind of brought in for that purpose.
He's expected to be the leader.
Yeah,
I mean, look, he's the number one transfer in the country. He knows to play in the Big East. He was all Big East first team last year.
he's probably the number 2 guy in the Big East.
He's
Second to was it Tyler Kolek or Cam Thomas?
Last year wasn't it?
Not Cam Thomas. What's his name?
It was Kolek, wasn't it?
It was Kolek, right? Kolek.
It was cool.
He was probably second to Kolek last season. He was
Yeah.
player of the year.
Right, and I think this year, I mean, I think he certainly challenges for Big East Player of the Year again this round. Well, knock on wood. I really hope he does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's hope
He wins it. But I think that he's certainly in the running for that. So I mean,
Oh,
that's
for
a
sure.
massive flip.
I mean, he's probably like a top 15 guy in the country. I mean, he
Oh, I
very
mean,
well could be
just-
one of the top 15
Oh, yeah,
players. in the
absolutely.
country
Taking a
at the
look at his
season.
stats from last year, just a small sample size to go off to, 15 points a game, 7
Pretty good.
rebounds a game, 5 assists per game. I mean, he led Seton Hall in points, rebounds, assists, steals.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
mean, you're adding a 5 to a player.
And I'm pretty sure in the NIT championship game, he scored like 26, 13, and something.
He's a very impressive guy, and he's going to be the guy that I think we are going to be raving about on a weekly basis.
I would definitely agree with that.
Not the only big name transfer portal member that we brought in. We brought in Davon Smith as well from Utah. Got some great experience in the NIT. Played really well there, and he's another guard. I mean, you talk about what's important in March. It's always, your backcourt play. And with Kadari Richmond and Davon Smith, don't forget about Simeon Wilcher. I mean, those 3 guys make up an incredible backcourt. They're all going to get playing time.
Oh, they're
Rick
gonna play
Pitino, it's not like they're going to, it's not like we're going to have 2 guys and then one of them's going to get the bump. He's going to rotate them in.
I
and
mean,
they're all
I
gonna get
think they
good
could all
minutes.
start. To be
Yeah,
honest, and depending on the
potentially.
lineup shakes out. I mean, maybe not day one because I think I've saw something that says Davon Smith might start on the bench, but those things again are also fluid. So when you have options like that in the backcourt, it'll be exciting. I mean, like you said, backcourt play always is important. So they're the guys with the ball in their hands. So
I mean, looking Davon Smith last year averaged 13 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, almost Kadari Richmond like numbers. It's
Very
going to
important.
be exciting to watch these guys. It's St. John's, so I'm sure there'll be times where we are frustrated with these guys that we
sure.
are looking at like these guys. This is going to be the best backcourt in the history of the world. And at moments they're not going to be because they're still learning to play together, and that's the way it goes, particularly at the beginning. But by Big East play, I'd expect this backcourt to be in a place where basically on a nightly basis, we're looking at them and going like, yeah, these guys are living up to the billing.
The one thing we lack a little bit of is like a consistent shooter, as we've always lacked.
I mean, would we be St. John's if we didn't?
Right. Hopefully, like, Simeon Wilcher, Brady Dunlap, just like last year, could come up in the spot.
Yeah.
Well, like we hoped for last year.
Well, Wilcher, I think to your point, I think Wilcher out of that backcourt, Wilcher is going to be the guy who needs to be a 3-point shooter. I mean, David Smith and Kadari Richmond both are okay 3-point shooters, but not great, and they really haven't taken a lot in their career. That's not their game.
I heard they were also working with R.J. Lewis on his shot,
and
on his
Lewis
form and stuff
wasn't
like
a bad shooter last year.
No, he wasn't. If he got hot, he would get hot.
Yeah, I mean, he could take over. I mean, look, we know all about RJ from last year. I
Right.
mean, he can take over a game. He can dominate a game at any point.
Well, he does have his legs under him finally.
Finally, for the first time. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we can hopefully really see the potential that RJ is going to have.
Hopefully, he stays healthy all throughout the season. Because remember, for like the first month, he wasn't even healthy. He had a
True.
broken finger,
Yeah.
and then he had
Right. I mean, the
whatever.
shin splints luckily are gone,
Shin
as Tim said, because he had the surgery. So
right.
he's, there was an article in the Post talking about him, and he says he feels better than he ever has in years. So that's good. I like that.
Very good,
That's
yeah.
great.
Healthy RJ Lewis could be, listen, there are times where he's frustrating, but there's times where could be the best player on the court, and,
Absolutely.
and if he's fully healthy and ready to go, that could be a problem for a lot of teams. Some other guys that are on this roster that are new, Aaron Scott, he's a North Texas transfer. He could be a guy that you see get a lot of minutes, but likely to start.
He could be a 3-point shooter guy as well.
He give me
That's a good
And he's a
point.
good 3-and-D kind of guy. He might start, though. Like you said, Vincent.
everybody could start. We could just start like 10 guys.
Yeah, let's just start everybody. Like a hockey line.
Maybe
That'd be
that's
fun.
what we've been missing all these years. We just start all of our guys. We could beat them because we would outnumber them. Zubi Ejiofor obviously comes back. He's going to be our big man.
Zuby.
He's going to be our big man who filled in phenomenally for Joel Soriano.
And was voted captain.
And he was voted a captain. Yeah.
With Kadari.
With Kadari Richmond. Him and Kadari Richmond both voted captains.
Backing up Zubi as our secondary big man is going to be Vince Iwuchukwu. I hope I pronounced that name correctly.
Well, he's also healthy. He's
Right.
coming off the episode with his heart. Then LeBron James Jr. had to copy him.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Hey.
What's in the
Transfer from
water?
USC, by the way.
And a
Yeah.
top 30 prospect at that. He was a top 30 player in the country when he went to USC. So hopefully there's he can find his potential here.
Yeah, 7-1. Size don't lie.
He's going to get some minutes. I
That's
mean,
right.
the big men always get minutes, right?
That's
You always
true.
got to rotate him in. So
Yeah.
some other names just to keep in mind. Ruben Prey, he's a 6'10 freshman out of Portugal. These are guys who are going to obviously get minutes, like we talked about. Brady Dunlap, we all know him. He's a name we've come to know and love. Jaden Glover, another name to keep an eye out for. He's a freshman, may get some minutes, probably with the amount of guards we have. It'll be a learning year for him.
He's a 4-star recruit, much like Simeon Wilcher. Hopefully he can develop over time, and he might not get a lot of minutes, but he might play important minutes because he is a good shooter apparently as well, which would be useful.
We could always use those. Kaman Maker is the other freshman center. He's may redshirt, but he's a guy who, if he doesn't redshirt, would be in that rotation of big men. The last two guys on the roster we haven't mentioned, Sidiku Ibinio. He's actually a returning member. He came over, transferred from Iona with Rick Pitino last year. And then left here is Leotopoulos,
Our own Greek freak.
freshman from Greece, obviously, as Nick mentioned. That finishes out the roster. So, guys, let's take a crack here. What do we think? Now, we do have a sample size, the 2 exhibition games we'll talk about in a minute, but what do we think this starting 5 is going to look like? We just want to talk about the first game. So, let's
Okay.
What is going to be your opening day against Fordham starting 5?
So my starting 5 is going to be a breakdown of Zuby, RJ, Kadari, Simeon, and Smith.
Fair enough. Craig?
Same, except I would switch Smith with Scott. So, if you want me to say it or no?
You probably should.
Sorry. So I'm going to go with Zuby, Simeon Wilcher, Kadari Richmond, RJ Lewis, and Aaron Scott instead of Davon Smith.
So, really one change from Tim.
One change. Yeah.
Nick?
So I'm going to go with a little bit of a bigger starting lineup. I'm going to go with Zuby Ejiofor. I'm going to go with Vince Iwuchukwu. I think I got that. I'll train throughout the season to get that name right. I'm going to go with obviously Kadari Richmond.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Davion Smith. I'm going to go with Simeon Wilcher. I think he starts over RJ Lewis.
All right. So, you went sort of big and sort of small at the same time.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think Kadari Richmond, obviously. I tend to think it's going to be Davon Smith, I'm in agreement with you, Nick, in that it will be Simeon Wilcher. I think we go a little bit small, though. I think we stick RJ Lewis there, and then we go with Zuby Ejiofor, which is basically exactly what Tim said.
Yes, you agree with them.
So yeah, that's where
So I think we can all.
Sorry.
So I think we can all agree on obviously Kadari Richmond and Zuby and
Simeon.
I think we all said
And we
Dave.
all said
and
Simeon.
Simeon.
We all said Simeon. Yeah, yeah.
We all said Simeon.
There we go.
Only Craig didn't say Davon Smith.
Correct.
You're probably wrong. Anyway, looking
bitch.
back,
We'll see.
He's the 6 foot Russell Westbrook.
could be.
Thunder Russell, though.
Looking back, we have had 2 looks at this team. We 2 exhibition games to start the year. On, obviously not start the season, but
Unofficially 2-0.
unofficially 2-0. The first game was at Rutgers, packed Rutgers house, by the way. They do a good job there, which is scary.
They do.
But
Ranked 25th.
brought those suckers right back down because we beat them 91-85 in a game where we were behind.
Yeah.
At halftime, we were down 44-36. We outscored them 55-41 in the second half.
Yeah, we look really
to
good
turn
in
things
that
around.
game.
In that second half, we looked particularly good.
And that's it's also really important. I mean, I know it's an exhibition game, but it was in front of a packed house. They're 25 in the country. We're 27. There's buzz. It's pretty local still. Like this felt much more like a real game than an exhibition, especially with it having a big crowd.
And it helps with the buzz about the program. So it doesn't help us in terms of record. It won't help us in terms of March. But what it does is it does help us with like AP voters, and it does help us with the national media going like, well, Rutgers ranked 25th, and these guys beat them at their home.
Yeah,
Right?
They have
I mean,
2 potential lottery picks on their team.
they do.
very good look for sure. And you can't. Very good look for sure. Just to get into the starting 5 for this game, obviously, since we were talking about starting 5s, it was Zuby, Simeon Wilcher, Aaron Scott, Kadari Richmond, and then Io got the start as well. But the big scorers were Zuby. Zuby had 27 points. Great game for Zuby, by the way. 27 points, 13 rebounds. Good stat line for him there. And RJ Lewis came off the bench but scored 22.
It'll be interesting to see Zuby this season as the main big for us, rather than Soriano, which, faded towards the end of the season.
Zuby's going to be a massively important player for us this year. I mean, that's why you can see he's the captain.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very important. His development this year is going to be huge for us.
Zuby also 1 for 4 from 3, by the way. So
That's right.
if Zuby can shoot threes,
Watch out.
Everybody watch out.
Watch out.
Hey, you only have to shoot a couple just to pull him out a little bit.
I mean, he has the green light. So,
I mean,
No
he's been
fear.
hitting them. So,
Yeah.
Only 33% from 3-point line. Just saying. Not a great start.
yeah, I mean, that's not really.
I mean, it's the first
no,
game, so you can't really.
It's an exhibition game, too.
I'm not getting crazy about it. It's something to look for because I think that will be something that people will look at again.
Not
for
even
us.
day one, Craig already down in 3-point shooting.
I'm just pointing out.
Already
facts. I'm just the numbers.
concerned.
Just the
Already,
numbers guy.
he's sweating over there. Look at him.
I am worried about it already.
He's already concerned about the first game against Fordham, where we're going to be. Even worse in the first half, by the way. I shot 23% from 3 in the first half.
Oh, I can
what,
see.
what did that do for you?
I can see.
That's it. You can see.
I can see.
That's good. I'm glad you got your eyes checked. Overall, shot 45% from the field. Not too bad. 64% from the free throw line. That's a number we don't like to see.
Classic St. John's.
That's exactly what it
There's
is.
2 things that are a shoo-in for St. John's. We're always lacking a 3-point shooter, and we are terrible at free throws.
Well, those things held true despite this victory at Rutgers. So
But we won. And that's
listen.
really the thing that matters.
it is
the
absolutely the
difference.
thing that matters. And we look good doing it. Like I said, we came back from behind.
Right.
Um,
And it's only exhibition, so you got to work at a lot of kids.
yeah,
right? I mean, in
man,
reality,
that's
right?
why you play them,
You're playing all kinds of stuff. You're trying to figure it out.
We did have another exhibition game. Towson came to town. Well, first half we had the lead this time, 31-22, and we closed it out. 64-46 we won. Decent day for us. The starting 5 in this one was Aaron Scott, Vince Iwuchukwu, Brady Dunlap, Davon Smith, and Jaden Glover. So no Lewis, no Wilcher, not even Kadari Richmond.
Small lineup.
Or
Well, somewhat
Ejiofor.
small lineup.
Or Ejiofor, you're right. Yeah, and interesting. A very different look for this start.
I mean, I think it's exhibition, right?
That's right. This is the time to do that.
Trying out different lineups and everything, getting guys comfortable with guys.
Much more spread out scoring in this one. We didn't have anyone get the crack 20. We had Aaron Scott get 11 and RJ Lewis double digits again. He had 11 as well. But a very wide range of scoring. Outside the 5 starters who all scored, there were 7 bench players who scored.
Yeah, that's a good balance.
I mean, that's what these games are. They're practice
Yeah.
games,
I mean,
right?
defense looked
You
good.
want to get that out there. You want to practice, and yeah, the defense looked good.
Held them under 50 points. That's great.
28% from the field. So,
Yeah.
those are good stats. And like you said, you're trying to develop players. You're trying to give them some minutes. And I kind of like, to be honest, I feel like in years past, exhibition games have kind of been just like throwaway games. Like you play like D2 schools and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff where the competition where you won by 55 points. So you really didn't do it. These were two like good games. They're projected to be the best team in the CAA. Like this is actual real test, and it's good because it's good because it doesn't count in a sense, right? So it doesn't matter if you.
Well, you're playing with house money, but there's a reason you play them.
Yeah, I don't know. I appreciated that.
I do. We shot 39% from the field, 22% from three. Those numbers are not great.
No.
Like to see that move up.
It was a rock fight.
Yeah.
Some kind of. Oh, sorry, bro.
I think we were full from stealing all the Jersey Mike subs from Rutgers.
No, don't say.
Also, what a miss by Rutgers. How dare you not sell Jersey Mike subs in a New Jersey arena named after the Jersey Mike?
They don't sell Jersey Mike stuff?
Last time I was there when they first named it. Nope.
I think they do. They do.
They better.
I think they have a stand there.
But I think they might.
Jersey Mike's great
Because I went there.
So a sub above, some would say.
I want my goddamn sub in a tub.
Danny DeVito would certainly be a big fan.
Sure.
Anyway, let's get back to some St. John's basketball, guys. This season, into the season for the Big East preseason announcements, St. John's is 5th.
I love it.
Same as last year.
We finished 5th last year.
They projected us 5th. We finished 5th.
No,
Well,
I think it projected us 4th last year.
Yeah.
No, did it?
Well, I don't love the fact that happened, but I like the fact that I'd rather us have a little bit less. I want
Less
them to think. I
expectations?
want the other team to think that we're not as good as we're going to be.
I think 5 is
That's
pretty
fair.
appropriate, but to your point, I think it also gives our guys a little
push.
like, okay, like 5 is not like where there's 11 teams, but it's middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically middle.
I think the only surprise ahead of us is Xavier. Xavier's 3. Just to give everybody the kind of rundown. UConn's 1, no surprise there. Creighton 2, also no surprise there. Xavier is 3, which is a surprise.
Yeah, I figured
at
it'd be
least
Marquette over it though.
Yeah, Marquette's 4. And then St. John's is 5, and then the rest of the teams don't matter because they're all losers. No, just kidding. Providence behind us at 6, Villanova 7, Butler 8, Georgetown 9, Seton Hall 10, and the DePaul Blue Demons, those poor souls, sitting in 11th. In addition to the preseason poll, obviously the preseason first team, second team, third team came out. Kadari Richmond, no surprise, first team All Big East. Davon Smith, second team All Big East for us. So that's good.
That.
Love to get a little preseason, I should say, perks.
Also, Kadari Richmond was placed on the Jerry West preseason watch list, which is the
Top shooting guard.
top shooting guard in the country. So very good for us. We love national recognition, and he's well deserved of it too.
We certainly do. He certainly does, and it's always exciting when your guys have national rankings and preseason teams and stuff like that. Speaking of the season, let's take a look at this out of conference schedule. Obviously, our first game Monday, November 4th. Everybody, mark your calendars. It is home against Fordham at Carnesecca Arena at 6:30. In terms of our other out of conference games, obviously there's the typical filler games: Quinnipiac, Wagner, Harvard. Actually, Harvard maybe not as much as a filler game as some of the other games. Delaware, Bryant. Those are kind of our filler games. Our out of conference schedule pretty good this year, though. We play New Mexico, obviously, a father-son reunion
At the Garden.
and then we go to the Baja Mar tournament. Baja Mar tournament, very good, very talented pool. Number 8, Baylor.
Yeah,
Virginia, coachless.
Tony Bennett left him high and dry.
I mean, you want to talk about a bad exit? My God.
Did we ever find out why?
I don't know.
he exited?
I didn't hear anything.
Slow pace.
That's it. He was he was going to leave in February, but then he was so slow that he didn't leave until now. Tennessee, number 12 in the country, and then us. That's the 4 teams. Our matchups is set against Baylor. We'll obviously play the winner or loser, depending on if we win or lose, of the Virginia Tennessee.
I mean, if we take care of business, we'll very likely be ranked ourselves during that time.
100%. I mean, we are 27th, if you will. We're the second most receiver of votes. We've received 91 votes. Illinois received 92. directly in front of that is Rutgers at 25 with 102,
And we beat them.
and we beat them in the exhibition game. So
Very
we,
true.
we in this tournament we have the ability to put together a great out of conference. My only concern is it's a little early, by the way. So we play Fordham and Quinnipiac in the first week. Then we play Wagner and New Mexico, the 13th and the 17th. And then it's right into it. Then it's right. The game's against Baylor. So
That is quick.
it is quick.
Early season, you know, got to see what we got.
Listen, there's
That's
no.
when they happen,
That's how
though,
it
I mean.
happens. And to be honest, you're kind of playing with house money because you lose those games, and it's not a huge. It's not like you take a huge hit.
Right. There's like teams who come in and out of the woodworks during these like feast week tournaments.
I'm sorry, I was gonna like fucking.
You're good.
I was gonna do it in the middle of the thing. I was
You're
trying to
good.
get you to stop. So
I think it's
Yeah. Who was it last season?
came through at Feast Week.
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, like last year, like Michigan, you know, they came into Feast Week number 5 in the country. At the end of Feast Week, they were unranked.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So ups and downs, you can decide. You can really change your trajectory of your season in Feast Week.
Well,
And
there's a lot of eyeballs on it, right?
Yeah.
So you know, a good week changes the perception of you for the rest of the season.
Certainly, I think if we come out of this tournament with one win, I think it'll be an okay tournament. If that win is against Baylor, I think it's a decent tournament. If we come away with 2 wins, I think it's a very good tournament for us.
Yeah.
While we're down in Baja Mar, we also played Georgia before we leave, which is kind of funny. It's not part of the tournament.
Just to pick up another one.
Just to pick up another one while we're there. Georgia happens to be in the Bahamas for a different tournament. So they'll stop over and play us before heading back to the United States. So that's a good SEC matchup. The SEC was pretty good last year. So always good to get a team we haven't gotten to look at before. Our other out of conference game, Kansas State, Big 12 matchup. That's a real one. That's a good one.
Is that the Big 10? I mean,
Big 12.
Big 12 Big East
Big
Challenge.
12.
Yes, that is.
Wild thing about that game. Can we talk about that for just 1 second?
Manhattan versus Manhattan.
Yeah, Battle for Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's
Manhattan
it's on a
Project.
Saturday at 11:30 a.m. in the morning at Carnesecca Arena.
Wait, what? Actually?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're playing Kansas State at Carnesecca Arena at 11:30 in the morning on Saturday.
It's interesting. I'm assuming that it's because it's the football conference championship week. So I believe the Big
a great
Ten
point.
game is probably at noon. Not at noon. I'm sorry. I assume the Big Ten game is probably early.
Must be at 3:30 because if it was a noon, 11:30 is still going to be.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be.
It's probably 3:30. It's probably a 3:30 game. So they wanted to squeeze in a basketball game. That's the only thing I can think of.
It's a good point. It's actually a great. It's actually the only reason because I couldn't think of a reason why it was at 11:30 in the morning.
I mean, honestly, maybe they have the Big Ten championship on Fox. Yeah, maybe not.
Fox does not. Have
No,
Big
probably
10
on
anymore. No,
CBS.
it's on CBS.
Yeah, but they have the Big 12.
They
on
have the Big
Fox.
12.
Anyway, there's
Anyway,
there's probably
you're
a conference
right.
championship. Could be 2 conference championship games. They're trying to fit in a basketball game. Well, that's my only thought. That wraps up kind of our out of conference game. Obviously, we mentioned that Harvard game. That's a decent game. They're always kind of a decent program out of the Ivy. You never know,
Yeah, but I mean, Ivy League schools are generally pretty good. I mean, they're usually okay.
Well,
I shouldn't say they're
Harvard,
generally
Yale,
okay.
Harvard, Yale,
and Princeton. are-
Princeton are usually
Princeton's
good,
going to be
yeah.
the best this year because they have that kid Xavier Lee.
Yeah.
He's crazy good.
Well, I mean, they were good last year too.
By the way,
Right,
another weird time for that game. 5 p.m. on Peacock.
By the way,
Weird times. We got some weird times and weird channels. And some of
the
these things.
the Georgia game, by the way, is listed as 11 p.m. At Baja Mar on
I
Sunday.
got 11 a.m.
I think it is 11 a.m. ESPN showing 11 p.m. They're incorrect. It is
Also
it is
weird.
11
Also
a.m.
weird time though.
Sure. Again,
Not a weird start.
Again, a
Not
weird start time.
Is the Bahamas an hour
I think they're an hour ahead.
ahead?
which
Yeah,
is
from
why.
East Coast time.
Yeah.
That's probably
Oh,
why.
So
that
they're-
might make sense.
So they're probably starting at noon there,
Yeah,
but
okay.
here it's
All right,
11.
all right.
So
We
that,
can- that can vibe
that
with
would be
that.
why.
There's also a 2:15 game on our schedule. Just want everybody to know.
That's
if you don't look at the time, we can look at that later. But
That's
that's
absolutely
Was that
Wacky
against-
time. Wacky times and on Peacock. I really don't like
The
when they
fact that
put
we
something
have-
exclusively on streaming services.
Yeah, no, I was gonna agree with you, Nick. I was gonna say the fact that we have 4 games just on Peacock is really not great.
I don't like it.
I mean, I know.
Not
It's
a fan.
terrible.
I guess Peacock paid Big East a good amount of money though.
They probably did. They probably did.
We like money, so that's good.
I
I
mean,
mean, we do.
as a
but
conference, we are in favor of money. Yes,
Yeah.
I believe so.
we still should have taken that ESPN deal. I don't know, actually.
Eh,
I like Fox better. I think the Fox Sports, like what they gave us at the time for Fox Sports 1 at the start of the Big East, making it basically our network, I think was better than what ESPN was offering us.
True,
at the time.
But ESPN brings the biggest national eyes and sports. Like
Not bigger than Fox, not regular Fox.
I mean, people talk about you more if you're on ESPN. That's what
No,
happens with the Big
ESPN
East.
talks about you more if you're on the
Okay, but most
ESPN.
people watch ESPN, not Fox. Nobody's watching the Fox.
Yeah, but
Fox
ESPN does
broadcasting.
play into the national conversation heavily.
Yeah, I know.
They have their own
They
rankings.
shouldn't. They shouldn't though. But with the ESPN contract, you're less likely to get on your main broadcast channel because they're not putting those
Entirely
games on ABC. So
No, you're right.
You're on Fox. You get the opportunity to be on Fox. Part of
Yeah.
our contract is with CBS as well.
Yeah.
CBS buys those games from Fox. You're able to get, on CBS. If you get on CBS and Fox, you are seen more nationally than games on ESPN.
It's a great point.
I just feel like it hurts us more. I feel like our highlights are less on ESPN. I feel like
Eh.
I don't know.
I don't watch ESPN. I'm probably a bad judge. Anyway, let's talk about our season as a whole. Craig, looking at the out of conference schedule, obviously we won't look at we know what the conference schedule is. The teams are in it. Where do you see us going? What do you think we don't need an exact record, but where do you think we'll finish in the Big East? Where do you think we'll end up in terms of any postseason possibilities? And overall, what would you say is a successful season for this team? All right, Craig, let's start with you. What first of all, give me the non-conference record. Give me where we're going to finish in the Big East and what impact that's going to have on a Big East tournament. Any postseason things we're going to get to, and what do you see as being a successful season overall for this team?
So I'm going to say non-conference. I think we're going to be successful. I think we're going to go 9-2. 9-2. We'll win a game in the Bahamar. We'll lose the championship.
You think we beat Oregon and then lose the championship? I mean, Baylor.
I think we beat Baylor and lose the championship. Yeah. And then I think we end up third in the Big East. I think that's where we end up in the regular season.
Big East, a bye in the Big East tournament.
Bye in the Big East tournament. Do I think every year I predict us going winning on Friday? Well, we got to Friday this year.
We got to Friday
last year, so that was a great time. I say we get to Friday again. I'll leave us at that for now.
Okay, all right.
But I think we make the tournament. I think we finally break and we win a game in the tournament.
Win a game in the tournament.
Stop being a hater.
So
Greg.
A successful.
It's not a hater. I said we won a game tournament for something like 25 years.
Time
We're
out,
not
time
even
out.
getting to the Big East
A
tournament, a championship.
Kind of what would be your successful scale for the season? If we obviously that's what you're predicting, right? But if say we don't hit your prediction,
Greg just wants our boys to be happy.
I think if we don't win a game in the tournament,
okay, that's what
we have to. First of all, making the tournament is the literal bare minimum.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, you're saying for in order for it to be a successful season, they have to win a game.
to win a game.
All
I think that would be a successful. I think making the tournament would be a good season, a solid season. I think really a successful season would be winning a game.
Fair enough, Tim. Same question to you.
With our out of conference, I see us with only 2 losses coming into the conference schedule.
Same as Greg. All right.
Yep. I see us finishing 4th in the Big East,
Okay.
going to the semis.
The Friday night.
Yep.
Okay.
And then going into the round of 32 in the tournament.
All right. So winning a game.
Yep.
You guys
All right.
are a bunch of haters.
So what would be your minimal successful season?
Tournament
as well. Just making the tournament would be enough for a successful season. Craig needs a win. Okay. Nick, break it down for us, kid.
I'm going to give us 1 loss in the non-conference. I think we end the season 26-7. I think we get 26 wins.
Oh, we got numbers. He's coming in with numbers.
Yeah, because
he came in with the math.
Yeah,
he did good at the math.
I did. I'm good with the maths. I think.
Where does that put us in the Big East?
I think. I mean, it does depend on some teams, obviously, but I think that probably puts us at 3rd in the Big East.
13-5 in the Big East.
Fair.
That's where you're at. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You had 1 loss coming in.
Yeah. 13-5. I think that puts us at 3rd. I think we're only going to have 1 loss in the non-conference. Then I think we probably end up 2nd in the Big East. Second only to probably UConn. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's somebody else, but probably UConn. I think we make it to Saturday of the Big East tournament.
Ooh, Big East final.
And I think we make it to the at least
Sweet 16. Wow, Nick. I like your excitement.
I appreciate it. Look,
What would be your minimum successful season, Craig? Nick?
So I
Damn
am
it, Craig.
I am also going to agree that minimum success has to be making the NCAA tournament.
Okay, that's fair enough. I agree that's the minimum success as well. I think you have to. This team coming into the season, with your 27th essentially in the poll, the talent we have in the backcourt, I think making the tournament is a minimum success as well. Nick, I am going to join you on the one-loss parade. I think we probably lose to Baylor, but win that second game at Baha Mar. That puts us at one loss in the out of conference. From there, I'm going to go ahead and agree with none of you. So I think we're going to finish as the 5. Okay. I actually think the 5 seed is a better spot than the 3 seed because I think you have to face the 1 seed faster, but you face them when they're coming off of a high, usually of a fluff game in a sense, although not as much anymore because they play the 7-8 now, not the last ranked team. I think it gives you a bigger test and it leaves you more opportunity for the championship to be not as tough of a test. So anyway,
I can see that.
Just my personal opinion on the 5 spot in general. So I think we finish 5th. I think we make it to the championship. I think we lose in the championship.
another Saturday night.
I think we make it to Saturday night, and I am going to say that we will, for the first time in many, many years, return to the Elite 8 here in the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
I love it.
This team, I think, gets hot late. I think, listen, we have a good out of conference. My guess is we struggle in January a little bit, bounce back more towards the end of February, right in time for the Big East tournament and for the NCAA tournament. As we put it together with this backcourt in the tournament, I think it could be a nasty combination.
From your lips to God's ears, Vincent.
This is the second time you said that, Craig.
It's true. I said it to Nick, but now I take it back for Nick. I say it more for Vincent because you guys going farther.
Well, someone's got to
Wow.
be positive.
He also has
Well,
us
I
5th
was-
in the Big East. I got a 2nd.
Yeah, but Elite Eight's Elite Eight.
Elite Eight's Elite Eight, pal.
I said at least Sweet 16.
That's fair.
All right. Let's talk about our number 1 star to watch, and it can't be Kadari Richmond. So we're going to pick somebody who on this team you think is the number 1 player will be our player to watch this year, whose name is not Kadari Richmond. Nick, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with Zuby Ejiofor as my pick. I think, he was clearly the most influential player in the Rutgers game. And I think over the last season, he's made a lot of strides into being a better player. And with him having, being the number 1 option in the center, not having Soriano anymore, I think if he's really good, we could be really good.
It's a great point. He has really built over the years, and I think he could be. Listen, he's going to get a lot of time,
Yeah,
so he's going to get some time to shine, and I think he may take advantage of it. My guy is going to be RJ Lewis. I think listen, he's like I said. There's times where he's the best player on the court. He's another year older, another year wiser, another year more prepared, and I think even though he didn't start in those exhibition games, I don't think that's true as the season starts. I think he's going to be a starter, and I think he's going to shine, which is going to be a great asset for this team. Tim, who's your player to watch not named Kadari Richmond?
Unfortunately, it was going to be RJ, so I'm pretty much just on board with what you just said.
All right, fair enough. Sometimes it happens. Craig, who do you got?
I'm going to say Simeon Wilcher. Thought about Aaron Scott there, but I'm going to go with Simeon Wilcher. I think his development from year to year has been exponential, and I think his shooting is going to be very important for this team. And I think ultimately he's going to become a star this year.
I agree with you 100%.
All right. Well, that's the predictions from the Red Storm Chasers for the season in terms of where we're going to end up and who are the stars to watch. We'll see how well we do. I don't really remember what we did last year.
I was just thinking about the same thing.
Should have looked back.
We should look back.
Probably shouldn't have.
We'll send out a tweet.
That's it. Well, yeah, we'll drop that. Hopefully, we'll bury it if it's bad. Anyway,
We'll put out a tweet.
We'll change it like Joe Lenardi to make it look like I was better.
You can always improve your stats in the post. Most people don't pay attention. Anyway, first game of the year coming up. Get excited. Monday, November 4th, for those keeping track. 6:30 is on Fox Sports 1. It is at Carnesecca Arena. It is against Ed Cole's former team, the Fordham Rams. We stole your AD. Now you got to come play us week 1. Okay?
And we sacrificed the Ram.
Tim, we know you want to sacrifice the Ram. We know. We get it. Fordham, as much as they played well at the end of the year last year, they actually improved. They're a program who's been struggling a bit. They're picked 15th out of 16 in the A10.
Not great, Vincent.
Not where you want to be.
Not where you want to be
in the preseason poll. Just saying. They finished 12th last year, 13-20 on the season. I said they had a better end of the season. That was, they did.
They
But
won a game in the A10 tournament, if I remember correctly.
they did, and they
if
did.
my gambling memory
They-
reminds me.
They played better at the end of the season. They were a program who struggles.
Yeah.
And I get it. Listen, you're a A10. A10's a great basketball conference. It really is.
Mhm.
But you're in New York and you've got to balance against us. So,
Fair.
Recruiting's not really fair.
What do they call that kid that's now on St. Louis? His name's Rob Vila. He was on what's it called last year?
I don't know. What's it called?
I forget what team he was on. I think they call him like White Chocolate.
All right.
Sorry, it just made me think about it. You said A10s are really good. He was like one of the best transfer kids, and he went there.
No, it's Random Stats with Nicholas Coughlin coming to you live on the Red Storm Chaser podcast. St. Louis, by the way, picked 4th in the A10, just in case you were wondering there, Nick. I know we say this regularly during the Cupcake games. This is a game we should win. Ken Palm ranks these guys 166th. Just for reference, we're 19 in the Ken Palm. Not that Ken Palm is the end all be all,
But good numbers.
He's a good measurement, I would say, in college basketball. And being 19th for us, top 20, obviously, is very good.
Fordham's not going to be a pushover game, though. I mean,
They're not.
they're
So
an A10 team. I mean, they have some talent on that
That's
roster.
the thing. It is better than the normal start of the season Cupcake. We played Mississippi Valley State, right? Or Incarnate Word, even though they beat us.
Plenty paper clips.
This is a game where it's a mid-major conference matchup. It's a game where sometimes
Can get tricky.
you never know what can happen. They've got. Sorry, I got to find the kid's name.
They got some basketball players.
So you know what's funny? You know what his nicknames were? Rob Avila. There's 2. His main one was College Jokic, and the other one.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
Milk Chamberlain.
No, that's the kid. Yeah.
Oh, I know you're talking about Rob. He left St. Louis.
No, he just went.
He was named to the
He's
A10 defensive team, preseason team.
He left St.
No, he
Louis.
left.
He
he left Indiana
Indiana
State.
State.
Forward.
Oh,
He goes to
St.
St.
Louis.
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 A good
Right,
player.
right,
He's a
right.
graduate player.
Same color.
Some
Same
experience.
colors, right?
Yeah, guy to watch out
Billiken.
for.
Yeah,
Billiken's
he's
never
going to be a guy who is is going to be the star of the game for them in our matchup. So he's the guy who can make things interesting for us. At the end of the day, like we said, you play these games early on, hoping to get some wins and experience against decent teams, and we'll see what happens on Monday night. Fortunately, we won't have to wait too long after Monday night for a second matchup. We play on Saturday as well, November 9th, against Quinnipiac. That game at 2 p.m., like you said, Craig, very strange start time. That game on Fox Sports 2. Quinnipiac, they picked first in the MAC, the MAAC.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yep.
I wasn't questioning.
No, I was.
Finished to pick first picked to finish first in the MAAC, the MAC. 193rd though in Ken Palm, so actually not as good as Fordham in terms of the Ken Palm.
Yeah.
They won the MAC regular season last year.
I have another random trivia fact here.
All right, here we go.
Where is the MAC headquarters located?
Edison, New Jersey.
You guys already know this.
I drive past it regularly. Nice building as I drive past it regularly. Nice headquarters.
I interned there for a summer.
I'm aware.
I updated their stat books. It's fun. Adobe
What do you
InDesign.
want me to say?
I don't know. It's awkward. Anyway,
Adobe InDesign. It's great. Shout
yeah,
out
we don't
Adobe.
need to say it.
Now we'll go to our sponsors, Adobe.
Nick, hopefully you got their record books correct and you didn't screw it up. We'll see. Maybe we'll find out in this game. They'll call a record that Nick created. It was not correct.
Right. They'll go through the back of the record book and I'm cited and they'll be like, who edited this?
Who edited this book?
Nick.
What
Coughlin.
intern edited it? Anyway, Amari Monroe is the preseason conference player of the year. He is on Quinnipiac. He will be, like I said, the star of this game for the opposing team. Somebody we're going to have to stop, in order to win the game. And it's good to face big time players, if you will. I mean, I know he's obviously the best player in the MAC, not the best player in whatever.
Sure.
But it is good to face talented players because sometimes it's one guy who's gonna come and take over a game. And if you can stop one guy, then
It usually is one guy against St. John's that goes off for
That's it.
about 40 points.
as
Well,
long as we can handle him,
it's
you know.
good to play tough mid to low major teams because they're the best of their conference and they're a winning pedigree. I mean, Quinnipiac won the MAC last year.
They could be a tournament team.
Yeah, they could be a tournament team,
Right.
To one, so that helps the resume slightly, right? It helps the net and stuff like that once you start getting into that. But also, just like they're guys that are used to winning, so they play winning basketball. So to win those games, it just helps build the DNA of the team. So I think it's good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it is better than playing against, Mississippi Valley State and teams that really have no shot and really are not
Right.
competition,
Right.
which we've seen. And to be honest, some things that have hurt us across the year, weak out of conference schedules.
Right.
No one this year will say that
No.
about this team.
Definitely not.
No one will come in with a solid out of conference strength of schedule.
Mhm.
And we did a good job, by the way, whether it was Mike Craig or Rick Pitino or whoever it was, setting up this schedule to be what it was.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Getting into that Baja Mar tournament,
Yeah.
making sure we got Kansas State in the Big 12 matchup, signing the game with Georgia, even Harvard, New Mexico, obviously that's a father-son thing, but
Sure.
doing that,
Yeah, solid teams.
it puts together a real non-conference schedule. Now you walk into the season, obviously we're 2 votes away from being, or not 2 votes away, 2 spots away from being ranked, but you walk in with some real juice, some real ability to walk into the conference play ranked even highly.
We'll have almost certainly we'll have 2 opportunities against ranked opponents.
Absolutely. I mean, we're 100% against Baylor. Tennessee is ranked as well, so we've got a good chance
That's saying
win
if
that
we
game.
win.
And K-State.
K-State's not ranked right now, but could
Sure.
be. Certainly could be.
Quinnipiac, winner of the college hockey playoff.
Another good nugget from Nicholas Coughlin.
Let's see how many.
Guys,
There's
I
a
can come up with.
fountain.
Guys,
of-
just a fountain of great nuggets today.
If you guys need anybody to join you on a trivia, I'm taking applications, and my fee is a low fee. I'm not going to discuss it on the pod, but you have to contact my
For
team.
legal reasons, we can't discuss Nick's fee for trivia on the
For
podcast.
a trivia appearance. No appearance. I'll come to
Appearance.
I'll come to your
You
bar.
don't do
but-
trivia. You just go there.
No, I'll
you
be on your
play.
team.
You're a
but
consultant.
I'm a consultant.
Someone say you're a trivia
trivia
consultant.
I'm a trivia consultant, and you have to pay for my drinks
Oh, well, there you go.
and my travel.
Oh, okay. Hopefully not far away. Those of you in the central New Jersey area, you're getting a steal. Anyway, 2 games next week. 2 games to start the season. Going to be an exciting week. I'm pumped. Great to have St. John's basketball back. Between the Yankees and the New York Jets, for me personally, it's been a roller coaster of a fall. And it's great just in time for St. John's to lift me up or drop me down even further. Just excited to be back. I know everyone's excited to be back on the airwaves here with you guys. Thanks for listening. For Craig, Tim, Nick, I'm Vincent. Go Johnnies. Keep chasing.